Welcome, everyone, to the Small Town Monsters 2025 Kickstarter live launch stream. My name is Aaron Deese. I have the astute honor of being your host and master of ceremonies this evening. We'll be joined by the rest of the crew in just a moment here. We're going to get into trivia, Q&A, giveaways, previews, all kinds of great stuff. But first, a very special message from my buddy, Seth Breedlove.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Seth Breedlove, and this is the Kickstarter intro video for our 2025 Small Town Monsters Kickstarter. Small Town Monsters was technically started in July of 2014, and originally Small Town Monsters was a much smaller project. Small Town Monsters has grown since 2014 when we started from an initial crew of basically just myself into what we are today, which is a fully functioning production company overseen by me, but run by a multitude of different collaborators and crew members, many of them infinitely more talented than myself. This year, we're going to be celebrating the past of Small Town Monsters and all the stuff that led us up to where we're at today. You know, the Minerva Monsters, the Beast of Whitehall. In 2025, for our 10-year anniversary, we wanted to load the slate with some really intense projects, stuff that would harken back to the early days of Small Town Monsters, the types of stories we told in the earliest days, stuff like Minerva and Boggy Creek Monster. And so to that end, I am directing 3 films this year. One is called Dawn of the Dogman. It is a look at the Michigan Dogman phenomenon, and will kind of take you through the origins of Dogman in America. Dawn of the Dogman will be the first film I direct in 2025. The second will be The Kinderhook Creature, a movie that looks at Bruce Hallenbeck's experiences and the Hallenbeck's family's experiences with the Kinderhook Creature, the Blob, this really interesting Bigfoot case that also pulls in some other high strangeness topics on top of it. But just in looking at the film, it really does seem like a very early days STM movie. It's like Minerva writ large. So I'm excited to dive into Kinderhook Creature and go back to one of those small, intimate Bigfoot case stories. From the Beyond is a movie I've wanted to make for a very long time. I've been hearing about the Bennington Triangle for years, going all the way back to when we were filming Beast of Whitehall. It just seems natural that we would be going back there for From the Beyond and taking you into the Bennington Triangle, which is a place that is really weird and kind of dramatically underreported on. A lot of people don't know about the Bennington Triangle, but that movie's gonna have everything. UFOs, missing people, Bigfoot sightings, there's a pterodactyl that people have encountered. So that's sort of also being viewed as, the way I'm looking at it, is a spiritual sequel to Invasion on Chestnut Ridge. So I wanna bring in some of the style that informed Invasion on Chestnut Ridge, that kind of like 80s neon that I grew up around as a kid, embrace that again and make a movie that pulls all that in. So those are the 3 movies I'm directing, and then Eli Watson will be doing Siege of Ape Canyon, which is already shot. It actually shot this past summer, and there were more interviews shot in the fall as well. So Ape Canyon has been on my radar for a decade. So the fact that that movie is finally happening, I'm very excited about. Obviously, this is the 10-year anniversary of the campaign, so we wanted to load this year's campaign with as many rewards as we could. And the rewards that we have chosen are not strictly relegated to this year's 2025 roster of titles. One thing I'm really excited about is a Minerva Monster baseball tee. It's like a ringer tee. The logo is sort of, obviously it's calling back to our first film. We're really excited about that. Something else that's really cool about that one is that the logo was designed by Jeff Kunze, who did the initial Minerva Monster poster, which is one of my all-time favorite film posters. There's also going to be a Small Town Monsters 10-year anniversary t-shirt designed by Jonathan Dodd. It's got a lot of our most recognizable monsters. There's also going to be posters for all 4 films. We're going to have the 10-year anniversary book that Mark Matsky is working on. There's another statue done by Jean St. Jean. It's a massive year for us. One of the big things that people seem to really enjoy about our campaigns is that they include the opportunity for you to have your name in the credits of our films. And so this year, obviously, we're bringing that back. Have your name in our credits. You can do that by backing at any level that includes your name in the credits as a reward, or you can do that by backing at one of the executive producer levels. Those levels go fast, sometimes on the first night. Those levels are also very expensive. So people that back at that level are actively helping to make sure that the campaign hits its goal. We hope that you guys will consider being a part of this year's campaign, not just through backing, but also by following the projects, by watching the movies, by talking about our stuff, by sharing it on social media. One of the reasons I wanted to do a longer form intro video this year was so I could detail for you guys some of the challenges that come with running a company like Small Town Monsters. I think from the outside, it might seem like we're just sort of coasting and we get to do all this amazing stuff and none of us take it for granted. Like, this is the most incredible job I've ever had in my life. However, the challenges of running this company are legitimately very scary at times, especially when it comes to things like distribution and companies that you rely on to help you stay afloat going bankrupt. If you love the fact that Small Town Monsters has been around for 10 years and you like what we produce, please consider being a part of this year's campaign so that we can do it for another 10 years and maybe 10 more years after that. Maybe even 10 more after that. I'll do it till I'm 80. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of this year's campaign. We love you guys. Thanks for backing and for watching the video and being a part of this year's campaign. We appreciate you guys so much.
And once again, welcome everybody. Without further ado, that's enough chit chat for me. Please welcome everybody, Mr. Mark Matsky, Mr.
Heyo.
Alex Pedikov, Miss Heather Mosier, Mr. Eli Watson, composer maestro extraordinaire, Mr. Brandon Dallow, and of course, the Ohio STM crew, including Zach Palmisano, Seth Breedlove, Courtney Breedlove, and Jason Utez. We did it, guys. We're all here.
I can't tell.
Hey.
Hi. Hello.
This is
We
great.
are 2 minutes away from me hitting the launch button. I am
We are
watching the
so
clock and very excited.
Close. Guys, we have one really exciting piece of news right away. We broke last year's Kickstarter preview follower count by 100 right now. 100 people more than last year. So I'd say things are off to a pretty good start, but how's everybody doing?
Great. Hey, I just finished at family game night for my son. I'm literally soaked in sweat. And I'm wearing a backwards baseball cap like a cool guy.
And Bumble's assaulting Jason.
Yeah. So
Heck yeah.
we're
I
doing
like
good
your
over here.
cups. I like
I'm
the
so
cups.
excited. Cups are cool. I've seen those before.
Yeah. Cursed Waters cups.
I think I put those in a cardboard box once.
Okay, so we're 1 minute. We're going to launch here in a second. And then
Oh,
after
yeah.
we launch, I have some words.
Excellent.
Word of encouragement and kindness I want to spit at everybody. Should we just do we have an actual timer or anything? It says 6:59.
Yeah,
Yeah.
7 hitting
7.
All right, it's
it. Drum roll. It says it's what the button says.
Let's actually have
should
it
be
go.
live.
And
It's
we're
live.
live.
Kickstarter campaign.
Woo! Throw the link in the chat.
Oh, I love
Boy.
it.
Transcribing the
Mentioning-
stations, folks.
We have set this year's campaign. We have an end date. Do you have that in front of you? It's like March.
It's March 6th at 6 p.m.
March 6th, 6 p.m. So this year's campaign is actually only like 28 days total. But we wanted to have our first backer is Mr. Boo Berry, according to this.
Mr.
Oh, actually,
Blueberry.
Blueberry.
So Mr. Blueberry came in. But yeah, I wanted to say first up, since we're starting this off, and then I'm going to shut up for a while. This is the 10-year anniversary of the company, obviously. So we talked about this in the video, but I wanted to mention real quick. There's a ton of people that I personally, Seth Breedlove, have to thank for the fact that this company even exists. Most of you that are here are those people, but then there's also some other people. But just by name, Mark Matsky has been involved technically before there was a Small Town Monster. So 2014, Mark and I started Sasquatch together. There would not be, I 100% believe there would not be an STM today if Mark and Andy and Sue were not involved in STM. There is Zach and Jason, who are, in my head, they're just, they're like a two peas in a pod.
Or two fingers.
Yeah, they're two fingers together. And they're the ones that, when especially during like the Boggy Creek days, I talked a little bit about this, I think, in the intro to Mark's book, but everything on that movie was basically like volunteer. Like everyone just came and showed up and did work. And that wasn't the last movie that happened on, but they were willing to just be there as my friends and help me make it. So that's always been a big deal to me. The biggest one, as far as that like early STM success, the biggest credit beyond Mark and Jason and Zach always goes to Brandon, because Brandon has, in terms of production, Brandon's been involved since day one, because Brandon was around in the earliest days of Minerva Monster. I talked about this, but one of my earliest memories of STM is of Brandon and I combing through boxes of archival stuff at the Minerva Historical Society back in summer of 2014, while we were making Minerva Monster. And then obviously I think so much of the heart and soul of our movies comes from Brandon. So a huge thanks to Brandon. Courtney keeps us, yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I just wanted to say real quick, since you said my name, I would like to thank Goldie Goldback for being a full content executive producer, Helen for being a executive producer, Morgan Hazel for being a full content producer.
Wow.
So we only have 4 of those full content executive producers available. 2 are gone.
Okay. You cut me off. Courtney, keeping us afloat by watching our finances and helping film movies. Alex has also been involved a lot longer than what? Greg Bull is now a full. Yeah, there's only one full content executive producer left. So those are almost all gone. But Alex got involved during Minerva Monster Day 2, which was Mark, is that 2016? 2016.
16, yeah.
Okay. So 2016 on, Alex was a part of the STM family, and that's really early in the game. So huge thanks to Alex. He's not here. Huge thanks to Santino Vitali. He's like one of the secret weapons at STM. I also really want to point out Matt Harris, who was involved in the earliest days from the Minerva Monster on, and has stayed involved, thankfully, and is willing to do stuff with us still. So big thanks to him. I'm going to hit everyone here, and then at some point I'm going to forget somebody, but a huge thanks to Eli. The first time I met Eli was when he was like suffering from some sort of debilitating cold, and I met him after he had come down from some mountain out in the middle of nowhere. Wait, what mountain was that?
No, we came from the Nest site.
Did you? I met you at the Nest site, but you guys had been somewhere before that.
We were at the Nest site, yeah.
Okay, well, in my
We
head,
were at Mount Rainier before that, but the Nest site also.
yeah, that's what I'm talking. Yeah, Mount Rainier. That's the big
Okay.
part of this. So,
That's
and
the big-
Eli's been Eli has stayed at my house for a month and had to put up with me for an entire month. So, big thanks to him. Heather is another one of the secret weapons at STM. Heather came to me in, I want to say it was like 2018, 2019, would have been, she worked on Momo first, I want to say. And then, so that's how far back Heather goes. And Heather's been with us. And a lot of that early work, if I'm not mistaken, was like essentially pro bono. So, and then finally, I mean, again, I'm going to leave out so many people. So if I'm not trying to, there's a lot of people that I need to thank for the fact that we even exist. Adrienne Breedlove, huge thanks to her. Huge thanks to my son, Tommy. He's been around. He encourages me by yelling at me for whatever. And then a big thanks to my dad and to my mom, who's not with us anymore. But there would not be an STM if it wasn't for my mom and dad. So that'll take care of my sappiness for now. I just wanted to start off by saying thank you to everybody and telling you guys you're all amazing.
Additional executive producers that we have is Greg Bowl. We have Chadwick Smith and Mason. I really want to say your last name.
Schwanfeld. Oh, it's different. Yeah. Schoenfeld. I might have got that right.
I have a quick announcement, everybody. Just a quick update. We have reached 33%.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that's why I keep making faces. I'm looking at the thing, and the numbers just keep going up.
That's
7
insane.
minutes.
Wow. 7 minutes.
7 minutes, 33%. That's pretty good.
I like the numbers.
Wild.
Schoenfeld.
How many cursed waters cups can that buy you?
Well,
Come on.
I just thought a branded cup tonight would be good.
She did. I was sitting back in my room, and she comes back and she's like, I think I'm gonna put cursed waters cups on the table so we can like keep it themed.
Oh, Old Man Kid, who is a repeat executive producer, much like many of the others, has also backed for us. And
That's
at
the
full
last.
content. So full content
Full
is sold
contents
out,
are all
guys.
Wow.
All right. Well, that's insane. So yeah, I'm done talking. I'm gonna let Aaron run it from here. I'm just gonna sit here and quietly.
Oh, I'm just hanging, man. I'm just enjoying the ambiance. I talk to a microphone for a living. Well, I do have a lot of stuff for us to talk about tonight. Our very good friend Courtney, who, as you said, keeps the ship afloat, has prepared some notes for us. So how about we talk about literally the last 10 years of what you've been doing with the movies? Just all of it.
Yeah. Anything specific?
Oh, yeah, I have an itinerary.
Oh, she has an itinerary. Okay.
No, I'm doing a character. We do actually have an itinerary.
Yeah, we talked about so you know what? Why don't we start with some Mark trivia? Because I have Mark trivia 1 and 2 on here, and then we can do some and we should talk about some rewards and stuff too.
All right. So you want some trivia, eh?
Yeah, and the prizes this year, as is themed for a 10-year celebration, are old Kickstarter rewards that didn't find a home after the campaign. So they are mystery packages that were already packaged to be shipped out and just didn't have a recipient. So if you want a piece of STM history, which was Kickstarter exclusive, go ahead and get Mark's incredibly difficult question correct, and I will mail it to you. And then email Aaron your address so that I know where to send it.
Otherwise, it'll show up next year.
You never know.
You really
They do have a way of coming back.
All right. So as we get started into trivia, I just wanted to make sure that we standardize where the answers appear.
Good idea.
Do we have that handled, Aaron?
So we will be watching the chat, and we're watching the timestamps, and the first person it comes up with in our feed is the person who will get it. I will provide screenshots if that helps. But unfortunately, we're unable to account for any lag which may occur between the varying platforms that we were streaming to. So
it's probably, for backers or for people in the chat that answer the question too, understand that this is on like how many different feeds or platforms right now? Three different platforms right now too. So if you
one of the streams is in beta, so it's a little
yeah. All right.
All right. Okay, very good. So all of the questions this year are based on STM movies themselves. So all of the facts are contained in the movies going all the way back to Minerva Monster. And Minerva Monster is the source of the first question. In Minerva Monster, 2 historians appear in the first 10 minutes of the film. Name either one. Name either one of the historians from Minerva Monster.
We're trying to. So on my end, if you hear a lot of noise, it's because my dog Bumble is going absolutely ham because there's 2 strangers in the house, and he's very excited.
Not strangers, just
visitors
that haven't been here.
They haven't seen him in a while. Name one of the 2. Oh, I know this. Can I answer?
No, you can't.
I thought I was going to get
Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, that's it. Got it. First guess.
That's the last interview that he gave.
Wouldn't that be a heck of a thing, though?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Historians.
Yeah, I thought we might get some Barbara Galloway, but she's not technically a historian. She's a newspaper reporter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see the right answer.
Oh, who's got it, Mr. Matsky?
Bigfoot Society.
Woo, 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 woo.
Nice,
Roger
Jeremiah.
Bartley.
Jeremiah Byron, the man
Yes,
himself.
sir.
Good to see you, brother. Thank you for coming out. Thank you to everybody for being here. I'm going to keep saying that throughout the night.
That's wild. Wow.
If you just ignore him, that's the only way to do it. It'll take him like 15, 20 minutes, but he'll stop.
Pretend you don't see him. He's invisible.
Yeah, just ignore him.
We've got rewards to talk about. What do you guys want to talk about first? We have so many cool rewards this year. Let's start with the first one we released, which is this poster from our friend Jonathan Dodd.
Yeah, Jonathan sent me this image. Jonathan's done images now for like the last 3 or 4 Kickstarters, but this is definitely my favorite. I'm just a big fan of the entire thing. And then the colors on this one really pop too. So I'm pumped about that one. It's also part of the t-shirt.
Very stoked on this one. Yeah, the shirt. I remember when we dropped the poster design, we were getting comments for like, when is the shirt coming? And I think we had already decided to do a shirt, but you know, these guys know us too well. I have a couple questions for you, Seth. Actually, I have many questions for you, but do you want to answer like a couple of them for now?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Minerva. Since we're doing Minerva trivia, we just concluded Minerva trivia. How did the idea of filming this movie first come up? And I know I asked you this question less than 24 hours ago for something else, but none of our other friends were here for that conversation.
The idea, you mean to make just to make the movie? So yeah, I mean, I had done a book proposal. I put a book proposal together for a book called Small Town Monsters, and one of the cases in it was the Minerva Monster case. And you had asked me something like, when did I first become aware of that story? And it's kind of interesting because I grew up in Bolivar, Ohio, which isn't that far from Minerva. And I remember when I was growing up, there was like kids would say, don't go in the woods after dark, or the Minerva monster will get you, and that kind of stuff. But I didn't know what that meant until this book I got at the library. And I think it was called the Bigfoot Case Book, but it had a chapter or a section about the Minerva monster. And so reading that blew my mind at the time, because I realized that like all this stuff had happened in Minerva, which isn't far from where I'd grown up. But yeah, just to make the movie, that all just came about because I at the time was like a freelance reporter, and I thought it'd be pretty cool to bring sort of a objective approach to like Sasquatch documentaries, because it really wasn't being done at that time. And what I mean by objective is like there's no agenda, like, and that was, at that point in time, the other stuff on TV was like Mysteries and Monsters in America and finding Bigfoot and mountain monsters, and there wasn't the stuff that appealed to me about the Sasquatch subject was not anywhere on television or anything. So I started talking to the Alan and Jesse, the guys that helped me make Minerva, about putting it together, and we put it together over the course of a very long period of time. It's from like 2014 to early 20. I mean, we were filming still in like February of 2015. So the idea was just built out of, I had already done some preliminary research on the book, and I just wasn't seeing what I wanted to see in Bigfoot content online. It wasn't anywhere to be found, and not online, but on television or DVD or whatever. So there I went. That's what I did.
That's so cool. I love it, because I think a lot of people see our movies, especially even some of the early ones, and they think like, oh, this must have been a huge studio that put a ton of money into this, and that's how it happened. But the Wikipedia page for this movie, and you confirmed this for me the other day, the movie had a budget of maybe $500. Like,
Brandon, did you even make money on that movie? I can't remember if you were paid.
On Minerva?
Yeah.
I told you I do it for free because it was my first project ever. And I wanted to get into film scoring, and I was like, dude, I'll just let me do it, please, kind of thing. And I think you ended up giving me like 500 or something for that. But I told you
the entire budget went to Brandon.
It's worth it. Hey, if anyone's going to score a movie, it should be this guy.
Thanks, man.
What, Brandon, when you sent me music because I remember you sent me something you had done as like I can do this. Here's something I've done. What was it that you sent me?
Yeah. So like I'd never scored any kind of film stuff before. So I was practicing by just choosing like a random word and trying to find audio or something that would like encapsulate that word. And then I would write music for it. And the word was missing. So I was thinking of like true crime or some kind of like, so I found like this old true crime audio that somebody was talking about, like a missing persons case or something. And I wrote a track underneath that. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the songs that I sent you to say, hey, I can do something kind of in this style, so.
I wanted to point out that Martin Groves threw $100 at us in a super chat. So thank you, Martin. That is incredibly generous. So thank you, Martin.
We love you, Martin.
He's a G.
Martin is the man.
He's a G.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to say that STM Loyals Scott Dieterle and Lisa Thorpe have already pledged. And there's so many. We are currently at 48%.
Holy cow!
I'm itching to use this 50% sticker.
Just updated. Just updated, Aaron. You better get that thing ready.
49%.
We do have an audience question I want to make sure we address real quick. Our squad member Brian Reese, how do the add-ons work? Wanted to grab the poster pack. Great question, Brian.
Love to tell you about that. So when you go through checkout, you select your base tier, and then the next page will ask you if you want to add an add-on, which is either a Blu-ray upgrade, the poster pack, Kinderhook Creature by Bruce Hallenbach, I believe are the three we have. So you just select one of those, all of those, none of those, whatever you want. And then it's just added, and that will get shipped out with one of your orders, probably the first one, honestly.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about any of the movies?
Yeah, I think we have a trailer that we could show for Eli's film, Ape Canyon.
Oh,
we're calling our tentpole film.
We absolutely do. I think we should watch it. Let me do
tentpole.
A little bit of clicking here.
Just hear Eli go, a tentpole.
I'm just going to let that hang in the air for a sec. No. Alrighty, folks. Presenting for the first time seen anywhere, the brand new trailer for The Siege of Ape Canyon.
The Ape Canyon story is really one of the classics of Bigfoot.
This isn't just a Bigfoot story. This is the Bigfoot story.
What happened is that there was this core group headed by this guy, Marion Smith. His son, Leroy Perry Smith, his son-in-law, Fred Beck, a family friend named John Peterson, August Johansson, and another friend, Mac Rhodes. They established a claim for a gold mine in 1922 It's called the Vanderwijk Mine. Working up there year-round is not impossible, but you're not going to get anything done. Let's build a cabin. It was 10 by 20, build this cabin strictly by hand, maybe with block and tackle. It was a formidable cabin.
We got towards evening, and when they went to bed in the cabin that night after it got dark,
There's this large impact on the cabin. They all look out through the hole, and they can see 6 or 7 in the moonlight, 6 or 7 of these large creatures dancing around the cabin, and all hell breaks loose.
The creatures are throwing rocks, they're climbing on top of the roof, they're trying to get in, they're trying to dig underneath the cabin, they're beating at the door.
that one of the creatures reached through the chinking and grabbed the axe and was pulling it out. In the morning, when it got light, it had stopped, and they had decided that that's it, we're out of here.
There's large rocks scattered everywhere. There's footprints, large human-like footprints, 13, 14, 15 inches long everywhere.
I think the imagery is what draws people to the story.
There was no evidence of it, really. It was just a story.
Did this actually happen? Were these guys real? What if there's some sort of evidence left behind of the cabin or the mine?
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to let you know that we have reached 50%.
Yay!
Where did
I'd
that
like
come
to
from?
train whistle theme.
Oh, he's got music.
50% is nice. I'm sorry. My wife told me not to do it, and I was like, I'm going to do it anyway. 50% in less than 30 minutes. Thank you so much, everybody. This is awesome.
Very cool.
Probably good the ukulele wasn't on camera. Man, the chat is blowing up. We have more audience questions. Would you guys like to get into those?
Let's do some audience questions. Yeah.
Those are fun. We've got tons of great notes we can go over, but I love to talk to our audience. So let's see. Our good friend Scott asks, and this is probably a good question for everybody. Question, any chance to get a second copy of Mark's 10th anniversary book as an add-on?
Yeah, we should do that. Can we add? I think we can still add add-ons, but that's actually a very good idea to add so people can buy multiple copies of Mark's book.
Oh.
We'll take a look at that after the stream and see if we can do that. But that's actually a very good idea, and because people sometimes like to buy multiple copies for other people.
If you've already done your pledge and there's problems with like changing it, Scott, just email me.
But he's trying to add on. Oh, right. I get you.
Because I can just do that manually when I do my spreadsheets later.
Yeah, but we'll try to add the book as an add-on. So if someone wants multiple copies, they can get it.
Why didn't we think about that?
I don't know.
Scott is the man, dude. I have drafted so many episodes of House of Monsters based on questions that Scott has asked me. So
can we read a comment? There's a comment on the Kickstarter from Claire Maycock that says, STM helped me get through COVID lockdown here in the UK. So happy to be able to pledge in a small way for the first time this year. Fabulous and creative films. Thank you. I thought that was very sweet.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
I love that. I identify with that. Let's see. Here's a question for Mr. Palmisano. I think it's a great question. Bonnie Blue McGee asks, question for Zach. How do you come up with those awesome t-shirt designs? Love them. You know what? I agree with that. I happen to be wearing one right now.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you got the spooky one.
Oh, that one I just drew sketch.
Yeah, but like
stuff.
the AOL, like how do you come up
I don't
with...
know, because I like you and I and pretty much everybody grew up with Instant Messenger.
I hate my dog.
And I love Instant Messenger. I have fond memories of going to Denny's with Seth and Jason and then going home at like 2 a.m. and jumping on Instant Messenger.
The conversation we ever had after meeting in person was on AIM.
Yeah, no.
It was Zach and I talking to each other through AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah. I miss it, and it's definitely just a.
Let's just talk about AIM the rest of the night.
No, yeah. I mean, I had fond memories of that, so I put that together.
We got another super chat I got to show.
No.
Michael Tovar, thank you so much, Michael. That is crazy.
Michael, my boy in Austin.
Yeah, you're a legend. That's what all the other streamers say when someone super chats. So I just wanted to throw that in.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, ASL. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I don't know I can't remember what else I did.
I mean, like you've done the screaming snowman.
Oh, those things were just holiday.
And the pumpkins.
Yeah, those things were just holiday random things that I thought may work for shirts. I did the pumpkin thing so long ago too, right? That was.
Yeah, I don't know if it's common knowledge or not, but Zach also designs especially the film logos and a lot of the, if not all of the episodic series, like the title logos. Most of those are designed by Zach.
Hand drawn.
Most of them are hand drawn. He started that with Beast of Whitehall, although Beast of Whitehall wasn't hand drawn. He kept asking me, he didn't ask me. He said he would like to get to a point where he could do it, like where he could hand draw a logo. But that first one, Beast of Whitehall, was not. That was like a font. And then Boggy Creek was the first time he drew like a logo.
Yeah, I think you have I frame those.
The shadow box
hanging
by the door.
You guys probably can't see it, but hanging next to my door is it's like all of Zach's actual hand-drawn logos from the first batch of STM movies.
Yeah.
Look at that dog.
That's how it goes.
Sorry about my dog.
How much do I have to back in order to obtain the dog?
Right now I'll give the dog to you. I will I'll drive to California tonight with the dog.
Okay, folks. So back the campaign to get Eli a dog. I don't know how this is going to. I'm trying to tie it together, but back the campaign. Choose your rewards. Eli gets a dog. Seems like a win for everybody to me.
It does.
Yes. Let's see. A few more insightful questions from our audience, as always. Julie Bug. Hey, Julie says, Seth, are you planning to work with Hellbent Holler again in the future?
Yeah. I mean, I there's, as far as like set in stone plans or even discussing it with them, no. But as far as do we want to, yeah, I would say that Aaron and I probably mention them at least once a week to each other. Yeah. They're traditionally someone that is brought up quite a bit. They're super easygoing and fun to be around. And my favorite thing is people that don't take themselves too seriously and they don't take themselves super seriously and they put up with our insanity. And when they hung out with us for 3 days down in LBL, we were at like peak insanity. So if they can handle us at our worst, they're always, that's someone I always want to work with. So yeah, I'm sure at some point we will beg them to be involved.
Yeah. Good chance.
Can we read another one? Do you want to read that one from Nicole?
We got another Kickstarter or a comment on Kickstarter from Nicole. If it weren't for Monster Fest 1 and 2, and she said Monster Fest, so she's aware of my typo.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made some awesome friends for life. You're all amazing. And the documentaries and the community, it's an honor to be able to support you, love you. And we love you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
I know Nicole. Nicole's good people. Yeah. Thank you, Nicole.
Where are we at percentage-wise? Can we update?
52.
52%.
Wow.
So crazy.
Nuts.
All right.
Half an hour. Wow.
Maybe another trivia question?
Another trivia question. Okay.
I feel like we got so many packages I want to ship tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do something about that. This question is about the Mothman of Point Pleasant. In the Mothman of Point Pleasant, there's an interview projected on the inside of a TNT igloo. Whose interview was it? Who is in that interview projected on the inside of a TNT igloo?
It's James Marsden as Cyclops.
You really do want a prize pack, don't you?
Just gonna keep guessing every time I throw one out. Got to throw my hat in the ring. I mean, just because it was brought up, I think. Brandon, were you there for that when we shot that interview?
Yeah, that was super cool. It was such a unique idea.
Yeah,
that you had. Yeah,
you were there.
Yeah.
We literally lugged a projector into the TNT area and a very heavy generator, which is how. Oh, great! Send them out. Which is how we got the power to shoot it. But we projected that interview onto the wall of the TNT igloo, where what's weird is like most people would probably watch that and just think we just superimposed that in post-production, but we didn't. Like we went to a we probably should have just done that because it would have been a lot easier. But instead we literally took the projector in there and put it on a stand and blasted that interview.
Trying to prop it up.
Yeah.
Like it just kept falling.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And that Mothman shoot was kind of cursed too. I mean, the first day of shooting, I put my drone in a tree. Was that the day just you and me were in there?
It was freezing cold.
Yeah, it's freezing cold, and my brand new drone, I somehow put it in the top of a tree, and I got it down by swinging on vines. There were these vines that came down from this tree, and I'm just swinging around, shaking the entire tree.
And I was just laughing.
Yeah, and eventually the drone fell out and was somehow like pretty much unharmed.
Tarzan Seth.
It was shocking how it was unharmed.
Yeah, it was miraculous.
Always something with the drones, man.
Yeah, that's true. Alex, do you want to talk about? Well, no, I forgot. We did a trivia. Did anyone get the trivia yet?
Monitoring. I haven't seen any answers yet.
No, I have.
The right answer, that is.
Yeah.
We're getting closer.
We have.
Oh man.
Super chat.
We have
Matt
another
Larson.
super chat from Central Florida Bigfoot. Thank you. That is very
Matt
cool.
Larson. He's an awesome guy. Thanks, Matt. Really appreciate that.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
A few STM productions, by the way. So.
I want to have Eli and Alex talk a little bit about Ape Canyon since we just showed the trailer, just because I thought Eli and I did an interview yesterday with Dave Schrader about Ape Canyon, and I was learning as much from that as from like reading books about it. So I'm just curious to hear about the experience you guys both had shooting it. Should we just do that now, or should we wait till someone gets to the trivia?
Yeah, you guys, I'll break in if I see the right answer come up.
Yeah, Mark and I will watch.
Eli, can you just talk us through your experience making it, and then I want to know from Alex like what it was like for you.
Yeah. What do you want to know?
Just what did you do? Talk us through the process of like walking or getting to the site itself. That's what I'm like most interested in, because I don't think in your movie, I don't know how much of a part that will play, like your actual experiences there. And that's like something I think people would be really curious to hear about, is like, what is it like going to Ape Canyon?
Oh, I said, if I may politely pass this off to Alex, I think he might be better at explaining it than I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I think my film will focus more on that.
Okay.
It's crazy getting there. It is insane. And after going down there, and I think Eli can agree, Mark Marcel is a crazy but awesome man. I mean, the fact that he's been down there alone, it's like a combination of semi-rappelling, dangerous cliffs. It is a totally wild location. Why anyone would ever build a cabin there in the first place is pretty ridiculous. I mean, unbelievable, but not easy to get there. And I think people are going to see that and hopefully not try to replicate it, because we don't want that. But just the fact that Mark was able to find that is so remarkable. Not only Mark, but also the descendants there, the Mitchell brothers, and some of the guys that are literally descendants of the original miners. The fact that they were involved in it, that's a really cool element too. But yeah, they're all insane for going to that place and trying to rediscover it.
Hey, let me jump in here. We've got a correct answer.
Okay.
Yay.
Brian got it. It is Marcella Bennett.
Brian Rice.
Who's that?
Marcella. She was a witness.
Awesome, Brian. Please email Aaron. And I also want to thank Lane Marshall for being our newest executive producer.
Oh, thank you, Lane. I was on Lane's podcast a few weeks ago, or a couple weeks ago too. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out.
Our statue collector level is going surprisingly fast as well. We are well over 10 into that. It might be 12 or 13. I've kind of lost track, but I keep seeing them popping up.
What's next?
Should we show the trailer for the journey to Ape Canyon?
Yeah, we might as well show them both.
We're talking about it.
I think that sounds like a great idea. I have it ready to go, and I'm going to just rearrange.
With the plan.
We got a lot of things running on screen now. Alrighty, folks. Please buckle your seatbelts. I don't know. You're gonna
hold on to your butts.
Hold on to your whole selves in this upcoming trailer that Alex made. Okay.
No, we're unmuted.
All right.
We're all back.
Thought I'd give everybody a little camera break there for a second. You know, stretch. Stretching's good. So yeah, Alex, can we talk about this? I'm stoked on this.
Alex is
Oh,
muted.
you're on mute.
Alex muted.
That's my fault. Sorry.
Yes, but
I
you're
thought you were
not
gonna
going
keep
to
this on
hear
the
it.
screen. Yeah, it's top secret.
No,
yeah, no,
spoilers.
totally. We can say a few things about that for sure.
Do it.
Yeah, so as you can see, obviously, it's much more of a kind of an adventure, a typical sort of. I'm going to try to return a little bit beyond the trail to a little bit of its roots, more of that adventure-based, really kind of exploratory. And this is something that Shane Corson and I, as we were there at the cabin site, we kind of coined the term Bigfoot archaeology. Because that's what it kind of felt like. Like we're going down there, we're finding remnants of this old cabin. Obviously, Mark Marcel laid the groundwork, but finding old nails and finding old stuff that, this was a physical place that actually existed and 100 years old. We called it Bigfoot archaeology. So I think for the really hardcore Bigfoot nerds, it's just going to be so cool to see the Ape Canyon story in general. I think with the film and with this Beyond the Trail kind of companion, it's going to be such a breath of fresh air, I think, into a story that everybody knows about, but how much do people really know about? You hear the common tropes online for the Ape Canyon story, and everyone kind of has an idea of what happened, but I think this is really going to open a lot of eyes about the actual kind of story and the history and now 100 years later. And I saw people even saying, are there still sightings in that area to this day? I mean, they had stuff happen there while they were up there investigating. After filming this, I went and met with a guy that I know in one of the previous Beyond the Trail episodes from a few months ago. He had a sighting there at the base of Mount St. Helens and a really traumatic set of experiences. So yeah, the area is incredible. It's one of these places that's unforgiving. I mean, just a few months ago, 2 guys passed away not far from Mount St. Helens, while searching in that area. So it is not a forgiving area, but it makes sense that this is the place where this thing happened. So really excited for it all. Cool.
Very exciting
interview.
stuff. Very exciting stuff.
We have another T-shirt as a reward this year, which is pretty exciting.
Yes, we do.
It's a 2 T-shirt year.
Yes, double apparel, double the shirts. This is another great design by our good friend. I'm sorry, I didn't write jokes. We have another design by our good friend Jeff Kunze. Obviously, we're celebrating the 10th anniversary, not only of Small Town Monsters, but of the Minerva Monster, which we've already talked about a little bit tonight. So maybe Seth can tell us about this design.
Yeah, Jeff Kunze, who did the Minerva Monster film poster, him and I have hung out maybe like 2-3 months ago. Jeff, for those that don't know, like Jeff is another one of my oldest friends. And him and I have done a lot of work together over the years. We originally tried to create a comic book together that we wrote and we're planning to pitch to like Image Comics and stuff back in the day. But this is all the way back in like 2003. So in 2015, when we made the movie, Jeff was the first person I contacted to do a poster. So he did I consider it iconic, but it's the poster that's like the shadow of the Bigfoot over the forest and the house. And so I had hit Jeff up about doing a t-shirt design, but I wanted it to be like a ringer tee and have kind of like an old school 70s vibe to it. So he actually went and like studied old cartoon designs and mascot designs for like apparel, and that's what you're getting. We just got another executive producer. So the shirt is also like a throwback to the, obviously we made the first movie, but it's also it's got the 1978, since that's the year that the Minerva Monster case was most prevalent, in the public eye.
And what about the art print this year?
And the art print this year is also by Jeff Kunze, and it is a canvas print of his the original poster. So I actually think that's super cool. And that's where are we at on those? Those are going fast.
I actually just want to grab your phone and
cool.
check.
When I was looking at that, I never noticed that there was a house there.
Thank you, Michael, for becoming an executive producer too. Michael Wilcox.
Executive producer slots are flying, folks.
There are only 5 left, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And 10 out of 15 sold.
All the full content are gone, and there's how many of the? Let me look at the art levels real quick too. Art levels, we are at there's 16 of those left, and statues we are at 44 left. So I wanted to mention that quick. Those are going quickly.
Shout out to squad member Jennifer Arnold for kicking another super chat our way. Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate you. What are you laughing at? That's
Courtney almost wiped out.
Oh, are you okay? It's like
I was wiping Bumble's feet. I came back real quick and my sock slid on the floor.
It's like, did I say something wrong?
All right. So if we're going to travel through STM time again, do you have anything to talk about from 2016, Aaron?
Man, we got so much in 2016 because after Minerva Monster, folks, we rolled right into 2 films, Boggy Creek and Beast of Whitehall. And this is actually something I was excited to ask you about because I don't know the answer to this. Lyle Blackburn has been an STM compatriot for quite some time. And I think for me, when I first started getting into this, I was like, oh yeah, Lyle and STM, they work together all the time. But this was the beginning of that. So can you talk about how you linked up with Lyle, how he got involved in these projects? Because
this is cool because I had a memory come back to me the other day. Involving Lyle, but Lyle actually was on Sasquatch, right, Mark? Mm-hmm. And that would have been the first time we kind of like hung out and spoke to him. That was, and I don't remember exactly when Lyle proposed potentially doing a Boggy Creek movie, but I know it was very early in the game. Like we had made Minerva. He might have seen Whitehall. I don't remember, but he had floated the idea of doing a Boggy Creek movie, and I was obsessed with his book, the Beast of Boggy Creek book, and I was really stoked to do something with him. So we had a couple conversations and just decided to go, in on it and make a movie. But it was so early in doing all of this. We didn't know what we were doing. We still don't, but we were still learning how to do this. And my dad and I drove down to Falk for the Falk Monster Festival, and we made the announcement that the film was happening at the Falk Monster Festival. My dad and I literally drove like 14 hours or whatever just to make this announcement that we were doing this movie. And there is video, I think, on the Boggy Creek DVD of that happening, of Lyle and I getting up in this room and talking about how we're going to make the Boggy Creek movie. So the first time I remember talking about it, I actually think it was during that Sasquatch recording. It might have been during it or right afterward or something, but I remember Lyle had floated the idea about doing something together, and then we just kind of emailed back and forth for a little while. I mean, at that point in time, we were so small, and outside of the community, not many people knew who we were. And so the idea of Lyle Blackburn proposing working with me was like, I would assume that Mark and I probably geeked out about that at some point, because that seems like something I would not have believed. Because again, I was a total nerd for that book. Mark might have more insight on this too.
I think you're on the right track. I'm sure you spoke to him at one of the Ohio Bigfoot conferences as well. Either the one that we met at or the one right after that. So he would have seen. That means if he was at 2015, which I believe he was, he would have seen Minerva Monster, and all of those ideas just got kicked off. And it's really interesting that, in a way, the Boggy Creek Monster, the film, and the book are almost like the first crossover between the STM film and a book, even though it's not in no way official. But a lot of the people that are in the book are in the film, and one thing really did lead to another in that case.
Yeah. And then just because it was mentioned, but Beast of Whitehall, the funny thing, I don't know if there's more to talk about. There's probably more to talk about with Boggy. But the funny thing about Beast of Whitehall is that we filmed it twice. And that's like, it's been mentioned here and there, but it's not super well known that it was filmed twice. And there's a completely different version of Beast of Whitehall sitting on a drive downstairs. I just found probably 60% of the footage from that the other day. I don't have all the footage, but there was an original version. And then we went and refilmed it and made a completely different movie. The second trip would have been Brandon, me, and my dad. And just because of the fact that it was so early on and we had such a fun time doing that, that still is like one of my favorite STM shoots, because it was just the three of us, and it was, I mean, we had so Brandon was holding was monitoring sound, if I'm not mistaken. Brandon was monitoring sound. My dad was holding a reflector, like if we were outside. Otherwise, he was just kind of driving us around. But my favorite memory of that is the three of us going to George Henry's out near Lake George for hamburgers, which I still, despite the fact we had a really terrible experience there when we shot On the Trail of Bigfoot: The Journey. The first time I went there, the place is amazing. So I'll always recommend George Henry's to anyone that's in the Lake George area of the Adirondacks. It was food poisoning the second time though, right?
That was crazy. Yeah,
multiple people.
Don't get the chicken at a burger place. You were warned, to be honest.
I think Andy got the worst of it.
And Andy and Mike Ann also, because they both got like chicken at a burger place, and we're like, "What are you guys doing?"
Yeah, and it was totally raw,
straight up raw.
Yeah.
Great burgers, though, I gotta say.
Great. George Henry, still one of my favorites. Go there.
Yeah.
We just hit 1 hour on the stream, guys. 50 minutes since the campaign launch, and we are at 49,485. So we are right on the cusp of 50, right there.
Yep, we are at 61%, and our full content backers are completely sold out. We only have a handful of executive producers left. And I think we should talk about 2017 and then maybe some trivia.
I think that's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
So in 2017, we moved into a couple other films. We moved into a couple of the biggest STM films to date. Obviously, we have to talk about Mothman. We got to talk about Mothman. So, you know, there's a lot of things I want to ask about this movie, but what was it like having a Mothman movie air or screen? That's the word, screen, at the Mothman Festival. Because where do you go from there? You went a lot of places from there, but let's talk about that.
To talk about that, you have to talk about what had come before it, which was Minerva Monster Day. We did these. We used to have a very specific release pattern that got thrown off with Invasion on Chestnut Ridge and then never really came back. But for the first 4 movies, starting with Minerva, we did a big event surrounding the release of the movie. And like a physical in-person event. So when we did Minerva Monster, the premiere technically was at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference, but the Minerva Monster Day event in Minerva, I always considered like the real premiere. Because for one thing, it was the actual final version of the movie, because the version shown at OBC was not completely done. There were still a couple things done after the fact. But we showed that first event. Minerva Monster Day was crazy. The Beast of Whitehall had a premiere in Whitehall that I was told was, at that point in time, the biggest event that had ever happened in Whitehall. I've been told multiple times that the fact that they do the Calling Festival and all that stuff is because of that event and how well the movie was received. And then we did the Boggy Creek Monster premiere, which I can't remember who I was speaking to recently about this, but the story behind that premiere is hilarious. The Boggy Creek one. Brandon probably has nightmares, PTSD from this one, because Lyle, myself, and Brandon had to construct a projection screen out of paper that we found in the high school, like mere minutes before the actual premiere. But all 3 of those events were huge. Like every one of them had hundreds. I mean, in the case of Minerva Monster Day, not thousands, but like over 1,200 people showed up at Minerva Monster Day. And so we knew we wanted to do something big for the premiere of Mothman, and it correlated, with the festival, and we were able to pull it off. But the thing about showing it at the Mothman Festival, especially that first year, is we weren't at the stage yet where the State Theater smelled like sewage. So that was great because you didn't have to essentially just smell poop through the entire screening.
That was disgusting. Wasn't the official premiere at that hotel, though?
The official premiere was at the hotel.
The elk?
No, Bumble's literally moving the...
Bumble, honey.
The entire...
I mean, I really think it's great.
Our dog's a cameraman too.
Yeah. But we... Yeah, that is true. Yeah. So we set up the first time we showed the movie was actually at the hotel, the low across from the Mothman Museum, and we did this tiny screening, and it was like only like 75 seats, 70 seats. It was absolutely packed, and the response was amazing. And there were actual like family of witnesses and people that had seen the bridge collapse and stuff there. That is like one of the least talked about screenings we've ever done, just because there was hardly anyone there.
That's when Jason and I gave away a bunch of free stuff.
Yeah. Jason and Zach thought our posters were free, so they were just handing them out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was crazy. And the Mothman Museum has always been like wildly supportive of everything we do, especially Ashley. Like, I mean, Jeff has too. There would be no Mothman at Point Pleasant movie without Jeff Walmsley, in a conversation him and I had prior to even starting to shoot the movie. But Ashley and I became buds during the filming of that movie, and we kind of, I still consider her like a good friend. But I don't know. That's like one of those, without the Mothman and Point Pleasant movie, there's probably no STM today because we had put all of our eggs in that basket going into that movie. And I think, you know, Brandon could back me up on that. Zach and Jason. It was, and I think creatively we put all our eggs in that basket too. Like we stretched muscles we didn't know we had. And I definitely think Brandon's Mothman score was like, and I love those first 3 scores. Like absolutely love, especially Minerva and Whitehall. But with Mothman, he did some stuff that really started to show that he was heading in a completely different direction. Like he was heading to he was going to be a great, you know, composer. I knew that before then, but that movie really showed where he was heading. And yeah, I mean, but like I said, we put all of our creative eggs in that basket. Like we did stuff like projecting the interview onto the wall, the igloo, and, you know, the top down drone shots that start the movie. Chris Scouse, animatics, you know, like the recreations. It was our first time doing kind of live action recreations. But yeah, we had another executive producer. You want to shout him out? Didn't we?
No.
Didn't we? There was a name on screen for a second. I got confused.
Oh, I just threw them up there again.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I just thought we'd keep shouting them out as we go.
Okay, that's a good idea.
I will say we've had so many people who are backing with no reward, and that is extremely kind of you.
That's incredible.
Some of them are for large amounts of money. So thank you so much, you very kind people. We love you very much.
That's incredibly kind of you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about this a lot on this live stream, but we literally could not do what we do here without the support of our audience. I don't mean to get all serious, but it really means a lot, guys. We actually had someone just join the squad right now.
Nice.
Welcome. Steph, the Army vet. Welcome.
We
And
are
she
over.
lives, while we're talking about Mothman, she lives in Ripley, 25 miles from Point Pleasant.
Wow.
So how's that
Sweet.
for a synchronicity this evening?
Great area.
But I think that's a great time to roll some trivia, if no one objects.
Yes.
If no
Trivia.
one objects.
Bring it.
Trivia time. Okay.
You know, Mr. Matsky.
So in the Momo film, Momo the Missouri Monster, there was a fictional film inside the film. We'll call it Momo 1975. My question is, who played the pivotal role of Farmer Wendorf?
Yeah. I found a photo of this today that I
Did
should
you really?
Yeah, I should send it to you, Mark. I didn't even know there was a BTS photo of that.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. We love you, Martin. I saw that in the chat.
Love you, Martin. Martin's
Yeah.
my boy.
All
Well, I
right,
guess
what's
man,
next?
because
While we're
I'm the
waiting.
boy.
After this, I would like to talk about the YouTube credit thing we're doing this year.
Oh,
and
yeah.
some YouTube
That's a big
title
deal.
coming next year.
Yeah,
That's a big deal. Yeah. We need to get into
That's what I
that.
have next on my list. YouTube.
Burt Reynolds, close.
Ooh, Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, Richard Gere.
I wish. Well, the way you spelled decoded is nuts.
Look, spell check doesn't help me sometimes, and I type this itinerary very quickly.
Oh,
You got it.
we got the answer.
Yeah. Is it Big Al? Big Al Presents?
Oh,
That looks like the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
How can you not know that it's Ronnie Breedlove? How do you
Sweet.
not know the great, the one, the
Good
only?
job, Big Al.
Thank
Oh,
you, Big Al.
Gerald was close too.
Yeah, very close.
Oh, just by like a few seconds, milliseconds.
Yeah, literally.
Can we give it to both of them?
You know what? We can give it to both. Big Al and Gerald.
All
Please
right.
email Aaron, and you will go
Congrats,
with
guys.
because that is a deep cut, and you did great.
Yeah, that's some serious research right there.
Yeah, that's a
Kevin
big one.
Bird. Kevin Bird's in the comments. Kevin's been
Yeah.
around for 10 years. At least. He was a faithful listener of Sasquatch back in the day, too.
He came to the Sasquatch meet and greet.
Yes, he did. Yeah. I found photos of that the other day, too. It's me, you, Andy, Brandon, and Beans Baxter.
And Beans, exactly.
Beans.
Hiking around in CVNP together.
Very
did you
cool
wanna
stuff.
talk about?
I
We're
wanted
going to talk about.
the
Oh, the
stuff.
YouTube comments. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I'm so hyped about this. I
No,
apologize
you're
for
good.
cutting you off, Courtney. But yeah, we have a new tier that we added this year. It's kind of a late game addition, but this is super cool because we've never done anything like this before. And anybody who hangs out with us on our YouTube channel knows that we have a ton of cool stuff coming out of there all the time. So you have the opportunity to get your name in the credits of our upcoming YouTube lineup for the rest of the year. And we actually have a pretty cool little teaser here from my friend Seth. If I can get it to play. I like that song. It was cool. I wanted to.
It was very exciting.
I'm really excited about this. So we're doing the full content executive producer, which is already sold out, where you get executive producer credits on the movies and YouTube. But also now, if you do any physical reward, you get your name at the end of the films, like always. But also, you get your name at the end of all of our YouTube content for 2025, because we really want to incorporate our YouTube audience who doesn't, always get the content that the Kickstarter offers because of the films right away, but we want you to see your name for the whole next year after every single one of our shows. So any physical level, you will get your name scrolling at the end of every show for the next 12 months.
It's going to be very cool.
Wow, that's huge.
Hey, Eli is excited to have his name in there. He started backing. He's backed 4 times.
Well, I think it's time. Every year I tell this story, the origin story of Eli Watson at STM all began because I donated, I backed $5, and it was Seth was going through and he said, "Who is this guy? What's he about?"
Yeah.
And he found out about my podcast and asked to be on it, and now we're here.
I asked you to be on it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I was desperate to get on Cryptic Campfire. I hit you up. Yeah.
Well, and we do have a lot of really cool YouTube shows in 2025 that people could talk about if they wanted to.
Well, I'll talk about a couple of mine because I'm doing shows now too. So I've got 3 that I'm working on. 2 of them are midweek, so it's like Wednesday drops. One is called Bigfoot Decoded, and the other is called the Bigfoot Archives. Bigfoot Decoded is like an extended interview with various witnesses and researchers, and it will be around the United States, but some of the episodes are going to tie into other things that I'm doing. So like the new episode of Buckeye Bigfoot actually opens with a small section of the Mark DeWorth interview that I just shot down in Woodbury Wildlife.
Which was super cool.
Yeah, wildlife management area. And I've actually really enjoyed doing this show. For one thing, we've so far gotten to go to like 2 different locations that I thought were really cool. One, the first episode with the Seaches was out at Beaver Creek, and the second was in Woodbury Wildlife Management Area and over by Wells Creek, where.
Do you want to tease what else happened there? Because that's coming in an upcoming episode.
I don't know what happened.
The thing with the video we just got.
Well, yeah, Mark. So yeah. So that'll tie into Buckeye Bigfoot. So I'm also doing Buckeye Bigfoot, and we are extending Buckeye Bigfoot for like an additional. There's still one more episode of the current run, and then we have like 6 or 7 more after that. But because I'm kind of taking control of that show again, I think it's going to be really cool. The direction we're taking it. Aaron and Heather have done a lot of the research work on that one and setting it up and blueprinting episodes and stuff like that. But Decoded is going to tie into a lot of those episodes of Buckeye. So you might see like a short version of Decoded at the beginning and end of a Buckeye episode, but to get the full picture, you'll have to watch the Decoded episodes. And then Bigfoot Archives, I'm editing it. It's actually Heather and Aaron's show. They're writing it, and then Heather's narrating it. But it's a really cool idea. It's essentially an expanded version of what we did with the what we did with case files back in the day. So we have hours and hours of footage that no one's ever seen that are tied to other projects. The first episode we did is called The Alaskan Sasquatch Reveal. And it was huge. It was for like, especially for a Wednesday release, it was a big show. But that's one of those shoots where we have so much footage that people haven't seen. And I'm sure Alex and Eli probably have like equal or just as much footage as we do. We have we were there 17 days, so we have terabytes of footage from that shoot, and large chunks of like interviews that no one's ever seen. But yeah, Bigfoot Archives, the first episode's out. Do you guys want to tease what the second episode is? I mean, I know the second episode didn't happen, but it will happen eventually. The second episode was supposed to be Momo related, but I have a brick for a hard drive. Do you guys want to tease what the actual second episode is?
Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit. If Heather's
Go
okay.
ahead. You go right ahead, sir.
Okay. Well, we're looking at kind of the history of Bigfoot research and some of the groups that are involved in it. We're going through footage from, I don't want to spoil too much, but some of the early on the trail films that I think a lot of folks, just looking at the chat, I think a lot of folks here tonight have seen. But again, there's a lot of footage in there that has never seen the light of day. And what's really cool is that in a lot that I'm learning as we go through these archival interviews is that there are themes that are brought up and ideas that are mentioned, but they don't have space within the movie to be fully explored. So one of the things Heather and I have been doing is looking at some of the things that people are mentioning, whether it's Bigfoot's behavior, places they show up, things they tend to, whatever it is that didn't get fully explored in the original production. And that's taking us in additional directions and then leading to additional research. It's been a lot of fun. I could ramble about it for a while, but I'm excited to see how these next few episodes come together. Cause so far, I'm, very excited for the audience's response. They seem to like it.
Yeah. I wanted to mention, like, there's, in going through the drives that we have sitting here, there are literally entire interviews that have actually never been seen. Like, there was an interview that we shot while we were filming Terror in the Skies with Lauren Coleman about the Enfield horror. And that's because after Terror in the Skies, we were supposed to be doing an Enfield horror movie, and it just never happened. I don't remember what happened that we didn't make that movie, but we interviewed Lauren about that. So at some point, I'm hoping we can do something with that. We have all sorts of interview segments like that, or like large chunks of witness interviews, especially because you only had so much time to really get into details with those people. And so I just think it's going to be a lot of fun. Buckeye, I'm really excited about. I've loved all the topics that Heather and Aaron picked for the first section of that show. But I think the second section is going to be even better and go in some really unique directions. And I love editing the YouTube stuff. I don't know, like it's a completely different experience from the films for me, but I actually really enjoy that like time crunch element of it for some reason. I think it might be the fact that like I don't know if Eli and Alex feel the same way, but like I'll work on something on like Monday and Tuesday and people are watching it Wednesday. So like I think that part of it I kind of enjoy, that almost like immediate, response from like the squad members. No. So anyway, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I don't enjoy that.
Okay. I don't either.
It hurts. It hurts to do that.
Yeah. Last minute stuff can be a little tough.
Yeah.
But you guys always get it done. You always
Especially
send
when
me
you have hard drive issues. By the way,
reels.
You ever have a power outage and your hard drive is plugged in, just find a way around that, because I had that happen. It was this. Yeah, you guys remember that was like.
Yeah.
It literally scrambled my whole hard drive. It was and like midway through a project, terrifying.
We had that happen this past week. We don't even know what happened, but just like midway through transferring footage to a drive, the drive like bricked. I mean, it's completely dead.
The worst part is for mine is we lost power for like 5 minutes and it scrambled the hard drive. I would plug it into the project. It would crash. Let's just say after this, I have one closet door less after this frustrations with all this stuff because it was rough, man. It was a tough one.
You tore it off its hinges with your bare hands.
I legitimately almost did that. Yeah, like close enough.
I would believe that in an instant.
Yeah, it's one of those things. But
do you guys, Alex, do you want to talk at all about what you got coming up this year?
Yeah, I mean, kind of more of the same. Continuing on with Appalachian Bigfoot Files, of course. Love to see Seth in the big screen there.
I'm just sitting here nodding.
It takes a second to drag it around. Sorry.
It's okay. We love you, Aaron. Appalachian Bigfoot Files is a continuation of that series. Obviously, I think now it's like, 5-6 episodes in. I don't even know. I'm actually filming some stuff for that this weekend. That's why I'm not in my usual studio. But yeah, that's going to be continue on looking at different Bigfoot cases up and down the Appalachians and areas adjacent to the Appalachians. So what's really cool is that pretty much allows all kinds of discussions. I mean, we're even going to be talking about some pretty high profile hoaxes and stuff that, are incorporated in some of the episodes. So continue on with that. And then of course, Strange Places, I'm going to continue doing some of that stuff. A little bit more Bigfoot stuff on that realm too. So people should be looking forward to that. There's a lot of different stuff going on with that. But Bigfoot Beyond the Trail will finally be making a return as well. I know it's been a few months since the last episode, so it will be coming back at some point here in the near future. Obviously, we teased that Ape Canyon trailer. Hopefully that'll set the theme a little bit. It's going to be more about that really like adventure element, less of the interview style stuff. I'm going to kind of reform BTT a little bit. So Beyond the Trail is taking a little bit more of its original roots, I guess, or / going in a new direction. So yeah, that's some of the stuff I'm working on. Really excited for that. Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Eli, what about you?
Sorry, I was looking at a view of the mountains. I got Bigfoot Mountains of Mystery at the moment. It's just I'm convinced you're doing this on purpose now.
I thought he was actually pranking us that time.
No, I promise I'm not. My laptop's old and it's limping. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm going to blame it. I'm going to blame that and I'm going to go away.
No, I think at the moment I'm just doing Bigfoot Mountains of Mystery on the YouTube as I kind of wrap up Ape Canyon. And Mountains of Mystery is focused on the Sierra Nevada mountain range here in California, and I was pretty stoked to be able to do that because it's kind of an excuse to, if my job requires me to go camping a lot in cool places, that's always fun. So, but I'm excited to showcase the extensive Bigfoot history in the Sierra Nevada mountains because, there's only really one thing that's talked about from the Sierras, and that's the Sierra Sounds. I would like to cover the Sierra Sounds for the series, but the first several episodes are going to focus on other more unknown things from the Sierras. So this first episode that debuted in January, about a week or two ago, was all about Lake Tahoe. Yep. And then the next episode, I don't want to say what the next episode's about. Aaron knows what it's about. A couple people know what it's about. It's when we start stirring the pot, things start getting controversial.
Oh, good.
It's gonna stir up some conversation and comments amongst viewers.
You do, actually.
Okay. I thought that's what you were talking about, but
yeah, you brought it up yesterday on the show.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think people will have responses.
I'm excited, actually. I'm genuinely excited about this episode too, just because the location is a part of it, right? Or is the location a part of it?
Yeah, I went to the spot.
That's right. You called me after. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
It'll be the next couple of episodes that focuses on it. So this one, we're just dipping our toes into the water, and then we just continue to go off the deep end.
Yeah, I love going off the deep end.
Do we have audience questions before we move on? I keep forgetting because I didn't put audience questions in my itinerary.
We do. I was actually going to see if we'd like to take a few. Got quite a few actually. You guys want to?
Yeah.
Speed round.
Sure.
Let's do
Ding,
it.
ding, ding. Okay, here we go.
I love the train whistle.
Is it too much? It's probably too
I
much.
love it.
Okay, thank you.
So for mini posters this year, the posters that are a part of the campaign are okay. So there's Jonathan Dodd's 10-year anniversary poster, and that is a part of the
shirt level.
Yeah, the shirt level and up. But then there are 4 add-ons. You can do all 4 posters that Jeff Kunze designed, which are Kickstarter exclusive. So these will not be the final film posters for the movies this year. They're great, but the final film posters will be coming with the actual releases themselves. But all 4 of those are available as an add-on. So if you want posters any level, you can add those on that has a physical reward. So
We just noticed that some people wanted the poster, some people didn't, and so we're making it optional so that people that don't want the posters aren't paying for them.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Very cool. X-Ray Gal 63 asks, ever thought about researching the Ozark Howler? It'd be a fun doc.
Jason.
Alex?
Yeah, I'll research anything.
There is actually an episode of the Ozark Howler on one of our podcasts on the Small Town Monsters Broadcasting Network. It's a short little ditty, but it's about that.
Lauren
House of
Coleman
Monsters.
has an interesting line on the Ozark Howler. I don't know
Little
if you
ditty
know that.
about the Ozark Howler.
What is it?
A song. I mean, I know.
Lauren Coleman thinks it's fake.
Well, it probably is. Yeah.
Well, he said he tracked it down to a college student who started a website to create fake reports for the Ozark Howler.
Oh man, one of those scoundrels.
Just another one of those guys.
Might have to do a part 2. Interesting.
Part
Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Paul Morris asks, and I think this is an excellent opportunity for us to talk about one of our movies coming up. Just curious if you've done any research on the Sasquatch bodies discovered around Mount St. Helens after it blew up back in the early 80s.
Yeah.
I can. Do you want me to take this so you don't have to say what you think? Because
you can. I mean, I covered it in an episode of Road to Discovery, and I think the biggest thing about that is talking. I interviewed what's his name, John Bongiovanni, at the North Fork Survivor Museum, and he's got this hybrid Bigfoot St. Helens eruption museum there. He's super knowledgeable on the eruption itself, and he was just talking about and showing me photographs and things of the area after the eruption and how difficult it was to traverse. You have different people, National Forest personnel, trying to penetrate and find out the extent of the damage, and they couldn't get in there really. And so then you have this whole story of first responders driving a Bigfoot around as he's going from cave to cave looking for his Sasquatch brethren, and it's just that's not even possible.
In the helicopter. I mean, I can't tell you the amount of times I've actually heard from people telling me, yeah, I knew somebody who worked on a crew who was in a helicopter that had Bigfoot bodies. It's one of those telephone urban legend games. It just kind of takes off. And Mark Marcel, hey, shout out, he's in the chat. He has probably the best answer on this. So pull that comment.
Mark Marcel, the man,
the legend himself. Yeah.
Who you guys saw in that trailer a short time ago. Welcome, Mark. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's one of those things. There's also another, it's like Battle Mountain or Battle Creek Mountain, Nevada, where there's a similar story to the Bigfoot bodies. It's also one of those things that just somebody starts it up in a forum and then people just keep repeating it, and there's zero hard facts, unfortunately. Sorry to be that guy.
Hey!
Thank you, Jake.
Don't ask questions you don't want answers to. And shout out to Jake, another super chat this evening. Thank you, Jake. And Sean Maccabee.
Shout outs.
Oh. Real quick, I just want to read the list of our executive producers again because they are amazing and they are now part of everything we're doing this year. So we have Goldie Goldbach, Morgan Hazel, we got Greg Paul, we got Chadwick Smith, Mason
Schoenfeld,
Old Man Kid, Marshall Lane, and Michael Wilcox.
How many of those are left?
Only a few.
Yeah, the executive producer level.
You have 5 left.
There's only 5 of those left. 10 have gone, which is crazy. Yeah.
So thank you all. You are all very important. I'm sorry, Aaron. Back to you.
Hey,
No,
I don't
they're
usually
awesome.
have like a co-host person on this thing. This is a lot of fun.
Oh,
Working
another
for me.
statue level just went as well. So if you're wanting one of those Gene St. Jean Dogman statues, don't wait too long because there's not a ton left.
How many do we have left? Do we know?
There were 55 originally. We're down below 40.
I don't know if we're below 40 yet. Let me see.
Oops.
We're at 44.
44. So they definitely go fast.
And you guys are going to receive those at the statue collector tier and up. If you're curious. And I think we've said this since we've been here, but of course, as you go up in tiers, you get every reward from the previous tier. I don't remember if we've mentioned that at any point. And of course, we have add-ons to talk about, guys. We haven't really gotten into add-ons yet. We did a little bit with Scott's question about the book. We did talk about the poster add-ons, but we do have the Blu-ray upgrade. If you guys want a little more high def in your life, which is pretty cool. And of course, the final covers are not those yet, like Seth said a second ago. And since we have the Kinderhook movie coming up, which we haven't talked a whole lot about yet, it's a great time to read the book by Bruce G. Hallenbeck, who was interviewed in My Brain Just Shut Down.
He was on the trail of Bigfoot, the journey.
It's like it's something I watched in the last 2 weeks. But yeah, on the trail of Bigfoot, the journey. Bruce G.
I like how quickly you jumped to my brain just shut down. You didn't even like pause. You go,
I mean,
he was recently interviewed and my brain just shut down.
I mean, I learned when I was taking speaking classes that sometimes it's best just to be honest with the people you're talking to, so you can move on to the next thing that's more important than your brain shutting down. But anyway, yes, add-ons, and you can add your add-ons at any point during the campaign after making your pledge. I want to reiterate that.
Cool.
If we didn't get to that yet. Let's see, here's a cool audience comment, not a question, but I really liked it. Sean Maccabee says STM comic book graphic novel would be a cool Kickstarter. This might be a fun piece of trivia. I don't recall if this was in the notes, but there was almost an STM animated series at one point, if memory serves.
That is true. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how close it was, but we have like we have actual thank you. We have we have illustrations that were done by a production company in New York of like Zach, myself, Mark. It's very odd. Yeah, Brandon, Jason, we're all like, we were going to be in this cartoon series and comic book. I will say, I'm a huge comic book fan. I do a comic book podcast called Ancillary Characters that we have like 4 or 5 listeners per episode. So if anyone in the chat is a comic book fan, please join the non-existent ranks of our listeners. We only do like 1 episode a month, but I wanted to mention that the guys that do that podcast with me and I have we've been talking for the last year about a graphic novel concept. So it is something I've been wanting to write a comic book almost my whole life. So that would not surprise me if it happens.
Would it involve time travel?
Can we address Julie's question about the release dates? Because I think this is important to bring up in the show, and that is that we have no release dates for anything. We still have 2 movies from last year that have not yet been released to the public,
except for Kickstarter backers who've had them for months.
Right. So that's the important thing about being a Kickstarter backer now is you're getting to see these movies at this point months before they actually come out.
Probably 6 months for some of them.
Yeah. So we are working with multiple distributors now, and you'll start seeing our stuff coming out across multiple platforms again. For the last year, it's kind of just been relegated to Tubi and Amazon, but we'll be starting to go wide again here in the next few months. And then hopefully, we'll have release dates, but the best way to get access to the movies is always going to be by backing the Kickstarter and getting them months ahead of everyone.
The only release dates we have control over are the release dates to the Kickstarter backers.
Mm-hmm.
We finish the film. You guys often get the digital copy within 24 hours and the DVD copy as soon as it can physically be printed and mailed to you. And then everyone else waits honestly for at least a quarter most of the time, so 3 to 4 months. Right now we're looking at 6+. So for us to have control over getting you the content the fastest, it is backing the Kickstarter so that we can already have your shipping address and get it right to you.
And you guys literally get them within 24 hours of Seth finishing them. Like he'll send us a cut and be like, hey, watch this, guys, and tell me what you think. And then the next morning I'll get the Kickstarter email. So it's fast. As soon as we can get them to you, we will.
Yep.
We have another announcement, folks. We have just crossed the threshold of 65%.
Whoa,
just over
wow.
52,000.
Crazy.
Very, very exciting. Speaking
I've never
of
seen anything like this.
tell us a little more about that.
What? No, you're good. Take it away.
Should we do a little more trivia? I think we've got some more
why
questions.
don't we do a couple years, or we're never going to get
I would,
through all
I
of
would,
STM
I would
history?
let Mark get some trivia in here.
Let's
'cause
do a trivia.
I'm going to
and
call this now.
2018.
We're giving this 35 more minutes, and then I'm out.
I got a lot more notes, bro. Okay.
Yeah.
I made a lot of notes. Let's do trivia and then like 2018/2019 real fast.
Bam. Love it.
All right.
To you, Mr. Batsky.
This question is regarding Bloodlines, the Jersey Devil Curse. There are 3 narrative segments in Bloodlines. Who was the screenwriter for them?
I know this.
3 narrative segments in Bloodlines. Name the screenwriter.
Courtney.
Nope, I don't write anything.
James
I
Wilson.
promise that.
That's a made-up name. That's not even a real person. Grover
Is it Aaron
Krantz.
Sorkin.
Yes.
Aaron Sorkin wrote it.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis. No, yeah.
Andy Serkis. Yeah.
It's a film written by a young man named Yoda.
We've had 3 people ask if we have any upcoming UFO projects. Should we address that while folks are digging around for this trivia answer?
Yeah, let's do it.
Spooky.
So first of all, we should probably mention there's still a bunch of episodes of UFOs Revisited that are going to debut on the second Small Town Monsters channel, which is called Unexplained TV. So you'll be
If
able
you're
to
searching for it, don't put a space between Unexplained and TV. I don't know why, but YouTube doesn't like that.
Yeah, so Unexplained TV, one word. There's still plenty of episodes of UFOs Revisited to go. We have not yet released Lost Contact, and Lost Contact is done. Kickstarter backers have it. They've seen it. I'm very excited. You guys are all just...
Oh.
I think we have answers.
We have the answer. Yes.
Yep.
Sorry.
Let's see.
Was it
let's
Michael
see.
Kirschbacher?
Well, technically, are we accepting just first name?
I mean, who else would it be?
Yeah, that's Michael then.
I think Michael
Yeah.
got it. Obviously,
Yeah.
Mark is
I feel good about that. Michael got it.
I
That
feel
was-
like Jason's basically Cher anyway. Like the world knows him. Just as well.
Right.
We actually we do have a comment from Jonathan Dodd. I'm going to try to bring it back up here, but he says that it looks like Jason is in the background as the muscle. He is casting a looming presence this evening.
So far back.
You don't want to mess with Jason, especially not if you're a Canadian cop.
I also so, going back to the UFO thing. So Lost Contact isn't out yet. We're working through some distribution negotiations as far as that movie's concerned. I'm hoping Lost Contact will be publicly available in like the next 3 to 6 months. But again, Kickstarter backers have had it since like November,
And they have
right?
the
Or
physical
December. It was sometime in December.
They've had the digital for a while. They all have physical now.
Yeah. So Lost Contact, and then this year we're doing a movie called From the Beyond, which is about the Bennington Triangle in Vermont, and it does involve UFO activity and missing people and cryptid cases and stuff like that. So it's going to have a little bit of everything, and I would think there might be some sort of like UAP. I hate that term, but UAP stuff in Kinderhook, as well. The Kinderhook Creature movie, you'll probably see a little bit of that in there as
Yeah,
well.
isn't there like the blob? There's like the blob thing.
Yeah.
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 Would you describe that activity as NHI?
Oh, it's NHI activity all the way, man. Non-human
Yes.
intelligences have invaded America.
I didn't know what that meant. Michael, please email Aaron your current mailing address so I can send you a prize. And then 20, where are we at? 2018, 2019.
Yeah, it's important that we talk about these because a couple of our upcoming productions, Seth, you've kind of described as spiritual successors. From Beyond, you've mentioned kind of in conjunction with Flatwoods and Chestnut, but we've got Dawn of the Dogman coming this year, which is, I'm super stoked on it.
I'm excited too, and I don't yet know who the production crew, like who's going to film it, but we're actually going to be shooting this one the next like month and a half. So this is coming up quick. It is. I don't even know at this point that I would call it a spiritual sequel. I think it's just going to be kind of a direct sequel to Bray Road, as far as like we're going to pick up on a lot of the themes from that. The visuals are going to be probably fairly similar. I've already had meetings with Santino about like, you know, kind of, if anyone remembers the opening of Bray Road Beast with the book and the creepy window with lightning and all that stuff, a lot of that is you know, Santino bringing his magic to the production, and he's already back on board for Dawn of the Dogman. The other reason I feel like it's a direct sequel is that, so Linda's interview was about 2 hours long, and a lot of it did not make it into Bray Road Beast. A large chunks of it did, but you're always left with a lot after the fact, and some of it directly is about the Michigan Dogman. So Linda will be present in the Dawn of the Dogman, and the movie will definitely be dedicated to her memory. You know, and so I'm really excited to dive back into that one and pick up on some of the visual cues that we established with the first movie.
Sick.
Yeah.
No, that is still my favorite one. Bray Road Beast is my favorite STM film.
Thank you. I mean, over time I've grown to really appreciate it. I watch it and I still can't fathom how I did the sound design and editing simultaneously the way I did, because I literally, like, with each jump cut and stuff, I was doing sound design as it was happening, and we didn't have a sound designer back then. Now we work with, you know, there's Byron McCoy, there's John Parfit. But back then I was just sitting there doing all that myself. So I love that. I would love to try to be able to go back in with that like mindset and recapture some of that. It's hard. You can't, you got to watch with that, with going into something with that approach, but I think I can do it the right way.
We also had Flatwoods this year, which was a huge movie. And then 2019, should we skip to 2019?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some ground to cover.
Well,
This
Bumble
is
says yes.
Bumble's in, so we're moving ahead. This is when On the Trail of Bigfoot premiered, which is a huge year, of course. We talked about that a little bit already. Momo came out this year, which was, again, we talked about that a little bit already. What was the start of the On the Trail series? Like, how did that kick off?
Well,
you were like,
that kicked off back in 2018, I think, and that would have been Champ, On the Trail of Champ. Alex is the one that kicked off the On the Trail of series. The idea behind it, Adrian and I had a very young Tommy at the time, and we had rented a cabin somewhere, and I could not sleep because he was having trouble sleeping. He's a baby, and you know, he'll wake up screaming and stuff. And I woke up one night and I was laying in the bed staring at the moon, and the idea of like because up to that point all the films were very like, you know, they're stylized and a lot of recreations, or not a lot of recreations, but the recreations were a part of it. Was just a retelling of stories. It's the way it's my favorite way of telling stories. But there was the adventure approach had not been done yet. And so I remember hitting up Alex literally the next day. I called Alex and that was the first thing we kind of worked on together. But Alex is the one that kicked off that whole On the Trail of series with Champ, and then I enjoyed watching how his process of making it was, because he'd film and send me photos of like what he was doing. And I was like, man, that reminds me of like Brandon and me doing Beast of Whitehall, just going out there with like a single camera and going, and everything's run and gun. And, you know, and at that point in time, we had made all these movies that required like interview setups with lighting and recreations and all this stuff. And I was like, I want to take a camera and just go film in it, you know, people, and do it similar to how we did Beast of Whitehall and Minerva. And so that's On the Trail of Bigfoot was born out of that. And that On the Trail of Bigfoot series, the first one, has one of my favorite trips in the production, which was when Mark and I went to Washington, and I got altitude sickness and almost died. One of my all-time favorite shoots. But yeah, that's the birth, I guess, of On the Trail of Bigfoot. It was all born out of what Alex had done with Champ.
And a lot of that was kind of accidental, to be honest. Like the style, I was originally supposed to have somebody filming with me, but they got sick that first weekend I was doing a shoot. So I just was like, I'm just gonna do it myself, whatever. I'd kind of done that before. And then there was that sort of whole adventure element. And when I think about it, it was really kind of crazy how that came together. I mean, Seth had this idea. We had talked about doing something, and then an opportunity presented itself with some Champ researchers, including Bill Dranginis and Scott Martis, who are both sadly deceased now. But they were like, hey, do you want to come film our crazy expedition? I'm lugging my boat from Virginia up to Lake Champlain, equipped with all these cameras and radars. And we're like, this is it. This is the chance. And then it all kind of worked. And I don't know. It definitely set the tone a little bit for some of my style, just kind of randomly with just the way it all came about. So, and it was really cool to see how that evolved then into On the Trail of Bigfoot and all the other On the Trail ofs.
I was going to say, and Alex has been a part of a few of those too, because he was in On the Trail of Bigfoot, The Journey. He was in
UFOs.
You were in UFOs and a part of that shoot.
Multiple On the Trail of Bigfoots,
yeah, Discovery.
Pretty much everyone, the Alaska stuff, too.
Yeah, so that's how it happened.
Full circle stuff. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Before moving on, I have two things. One, I see that Curtis Prim is in the Kickstarter comments saying that he is back again, and he is backed every single one.
Whoa.
Thank you, Curtis. You are an absolute legend.
He's got a super backer sticker next to his name.
I also see Joseph Robbins in the YouTube comments asking if Lyle Blackburn's coming back, and he just narrated something that is finished but not out yet. So yes.
Yeah, he did Cryptic Goatman, but I also just talked to Lyle yesterday, and Lyle is narrating Dawn of the Dogman for me in 2025, because it's like I said, I want it to be a direct sequel to Bray, so it's got to. So yeah, Lyle's back.
Lots of Lyle coming.
We do have a question. Just for confirmation, Kathy Smith asks, are you going to film Dawn of the Dogman in Michigan?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The actual like documentary part of the film will be shot in Michigan, and then recreations and everything will be here in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to put Jason in a leotard, and
Jason does play a lot of monsters for us for some reason.
Well, Bray, he
was the Jersey Devil too. Or Chupacabra. It was Chupacabra.
Jersey Devil.
That was a great outfit.
Yeah, Bray Road though, Jason was literally I've had major production companies contact me asking if we would sell them our werewolf suit from Bray Road Beast, and I'm like, guys, it's spandex with some fur sewed up top, and then a $5 Amazon mask.
That's like how good the movie is.
That was the Bray Road Beast costume.
It was Jason's performance.
You should have been like, yes, and quoted them some outrageous amount, and then just sent them that stuff.
I gotta hold on. I gotta get Ryan Scott up here. So Ryan, Mark will probably remember Ryan. Ryan also stopped by our first Sasquatch meetup at Fisher's and gave me those mugs. Do you remember the little the mugs? But Ryan, thanks for backing. He's from Wadsworth, where I lived back when STM was born. So I wanted to point that out.
Sick.
Do we want to do some more years or some trivia? What are we feeling? We have a lot of years to get through. Do we need to jump ahead?
I think we're good on years.
Okay.
Questions?
Well,
comments,
that's
audience?
that's the question I was going to ask. We kind of covered 2020 because you guys talked about On the Trail of UFOs. You filmed Bell Witch that year as well. Apologies for that. But yeah, I'd like to get to another trivia question. I know Mark has put a lot of preparation into these.
Yeah, I'd like to see Mark do trivia, and then if there's any other questions from the audience, I'm excited about that.
I have some year's questions that aren't involving you answering them too.
Okay, good.
For other people.
Something.
All right.
So, Mark,
So
you're up.
trivia. This is in honor of Eli's favorite movie, Bray Road Beast. Here it comes. There's a sequence in Bray Road Beast that recreates visually a 1936 sighting of the Dog Man by night. A watchman named Mark Shackleman sees a dog man digging into a burial mound. It takes place at this institution. Name the institution at which Mark Shackleman had his sighting in Wisconsin in 1936.
You went there.
I thought you were going to have them guess the word that it said.
No, you don't want to do that. Don't say it.
Why?
Well, try it. See what happens.
Isn't it Gadara?
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Check your closets.
Yeah.
Nothing will ever beat Zach's prank call on me.
That's a good story. You should tell that one.
Yeah. Well, so one day I'm sitting here right where I am right now, editing, and I get a phone call from some unknown number, and I pick up, and it says, I see the things you do when you think no one's watching. I see you right now. Can you guess where I'm hiding? And I turned around and I was like, what? And then it hung up. And I was like, I'm texting Seth. I'm like, did you just prank call me? Like, what's going on? I left. I went to my parents' house because I was like, I don't know what's going on. Is there someone watching me right now? And it wasn't until the next day I found out that it's some promotional thing for the latest Scream movie coming out, and Zach put my number in there, and so I got a call from freaking what's his name, Ghostface or whatever. So it was nothing, but I was scared because it said my name too.
I think someone got
Chadwick Smith.
Chadwick Smith.
Executive producer Chadwick Smith.
Executive producer Chadwick Smith. Congrats, friend. Go ahead and send an email to aaron@smalltownmonsters.com. We will get your package on the way to you. Very exciting.
So for STM Through the Years, I have a couple questions for Aaron. Between Dogman Triangle, where you wrote the book and then we shot the movie, and Dogman Territory, where we shot the movie and then you wrote the book afterwards, how was that process different for you? How did that roller coaster go?
I was at two completely different phases in my life when I wrote those books. Like the first one, I had a full-time job, I didn't have a kid, and I lived in one city. And the next book for Hunting Grounds was the exact opposite of that. Different city, have kid now, no full-time day job. Like I'm full-time stay-at-home parent. So in that way alone, the writing processes were really different, but actually working on the book on the film shoot, I don't know if it was better, but I think it was. I think if I had the opportunity to do that again, like if we're doing a book and a film, I think working on them together, they kind of inform each other. Because I was making notes in the morning before we would go on shoots, and then we'd come back in the evening and I'd make more notes, and those ended up in the book. And I don't think the tone would have been the same. I don't think it would have come across the same way, if it didn't have that element. But with Dogman Triangle, I was kind of working on it in a vacuum, sort of just in Austin at my desk or in the evenings. So I don't know. They were totally different. It's difficult to pinpoint how, because they were just totally different experiences, but the same workflow and techniques or whatever still apply. whatever tricks I've come up with to keep myself focused, all that stuff's still the same, but the actual process and how I schedule time and stuff, totally different. Totally different.
And speaking of books, there is a book involved with our Kickstarter this year written by Mark Matsky. Would you like to talk about it, Mark?
Okay, yeah, I would.
Natural segue, guys.
Wow, that was beautiful.
That was. What a setup.
I'm loving having
Yeah,
a co-host.
so yeah. So the book, the Kickstarter book is A Decade of Monsters. It is broken up into 2 sets of 10 films, one film per year, and then 10 reflective sort of essays. And I just want to name the people who wrote those essays for the book, because it's a really cool blend of people. We have Paul Bartholomew, Seth Breedlove, Jeremiah Byron, Lauren Coleman, Aaron Deese, Scott Dieterle, Mona Lisa Diamond, Sean Forker, Heather Mosier, Ron Murphy, and Christine Wallace. And each one of those comes at sort of just a topical reflection on what does small town monsters mean to them. And so you've got people from the cryptozoological / unexplained communities. You've got people who have worked with us on projects, and you have crew members themselves and people who have been some of our most ardent supporters all together. So they're interspersed. So we start obviously in 2015 with Minerva Monster, and then we've got a Paul Bartholomew reflection, and then we continue on with Boggy Creek Monster. So I've chosen those 10 films not based on any sort of rank order or what I think is best or whatnot, but the films that I've chosen give me the opportunity to talk about everybody that's on the team and people who have contributed in major ways to the films, and really set the episodic stuff aside for this particular project, because we have books about the episodic stuff that we have already been written and are still available, and hopefully will get covered in the future. So it really worked out in a cool way. I think, the whole 10 for 10 idea came through very clearly, and it gave me the opportunity to share some things that I think about 10 of our films, and I just can't wait for people to see it.
I'm excited for this, actually. The coffee table books are weird for me. The 3 books we put out, or the 2 books we put out, and then Mark's that's coming out, because that is how I have kind of like experienced all those. I've talked about this, but I don't spend a lot of time looking back, mostly because we're real busy and we don't. I just don't have time to reflect a lot on everything that's come before. But when I get to look at those books, it's actually very emotional, because, it's like this morning I was going through Dropbox looking at photos from different shoots over the years, and that makes me emotional. So those books are really special because it's like getting to relive everything in a way, and it brings back memories I didn't even know I had of some of these things.
Should we take some more audience questions next? We've got quite a few.
Yeah.
Quite a few. Let's see. Mr. Booberry, one of our squad members, has there ever been a film that during filming completely changed into something else not originally intended?
Yeah, almost always, but I'm trying to think of the biggest one. I think
Jersey Devil went real crazy.
Well, Jersey Devil was real close to what it was envisioned as, but the one section became a completely different thing in post-production. But the one, like American Werewolves, is the one that always springs to mind, because there was an early cut of American Werewolves that if people saw it, it is unrecognizable from what came out. And Heather might remember this because I remember sending her that early cut of it. But that movie was. It wasn't necessarily supposed to be so 80s. It really took on that life because I had edited the entire movie. It was done. And when I was watching the movie, I just felt like there was no life to it. And I was sleeping, or at the time, Tommy and I, my son, he was only like 4. We were sharing a room in an apartment, and I could not sleep because of how much that movie was bothering me. And so I woke up and ended up watching Sightings on my phone, old episodes of the TV show Sightings with the sound off because he was asleep. So I had it muted and captions on, and I was laying there watching it, and it was perfectly encapsulating what I wanted American Werewolves to be. And I was like, that is the style I'm going to incorporate into this. And so it did take on a completely different, like the soundtrack coming, like all of that very like synth driven soundtrack and everything. So that's the one that always springs to mind just because stylistically it changed so much. But as far as like story goes, no movie that we've made actually follows like what we think it's going to be. The closest is probably Momo, because Jason and Mark had worked so hard on that script and everything. And then so we kind of had the whole movie blueprinted, and even then, I mean, the documentary portions didn't necessarily go the way that we thought they would. So I'm sure Alex and Eli have the same experience every time they go out.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. I mean, there's stuff that will just, you don't expect to happen, and then it completely changes the story, or you create a film that you didn't think was going to happen. Yeah, it's luck of the draw, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's
and
see.
even like very few things. Like I would say the first episode of Mountains of Mystery came out pretty much how I wanted it to, but even then, the story that I had imagined kind of came together differently, in a different order than I anticipated. And so like that happens, I feel like, on every project, no matter, even if you say it came out the way you wanted it to, things will get rearranged on the timeline. So
yeah.
Bonnie Blue McGee is wondering, do we have any beyond Kickstarter goodies if we blow past the goal? Stretch rewards?
Oh, we
have
do.
stretch rewards?
We do. Should we talk about them?
I mean, we might as well go ahead and talk about them, because honestly, considering we're already over 60%, I would say by the end of the weekend, we're going to be announcing stretch rewards. So you want to announce them? I don't know what they are.
I know what they are. So the first one is we have not done a bumper sticker in a very long time, and we're going to do a special 10-year anniversary bumper sticker designed by Zach Pomisano. So our first one will be a bumper sticker, and then we're also the second one after that will be a super cool keychain that we're going to do. That's going to be STM monster themed. So we don't have final designs for those yet, but those are the items that we're going to be doing so far. If you guys blow us out of the water, I'll think of another one. I'll do it. Don't make me do it. You can't make me do it. I'll do it.
There's ideas. We've had suggestions for Velcro patches, rubber ducks, I hear is a thing.
Yeah, I hear the Velcro patch a lot.
We had a question.
We have a patch on our website for the STM Squad, our YouTube membership. I don't know if it's Velcro, but we do have a patch on our website. If you are wanting an STM patch, it is out there.
So yes to stretch goal rewards, Bonnie. Bonnie always asks the best questions. Squad member Lisa, who made our tumblers last year and was a Monster Fest volunteer, asks, any conventions this year?
Officially
not yet, but I've actually been emailing with multiples in the last week that I need to talk with this guy about. So there will be some. I just can't announce them yet.
Mothman. I do know Mothman Festival is happening again. We'll be at Mothman Festival.
Very cool. Schmurgy Purgy says, who's the original founder of STM?
Alexander Petikoff.
Yes. Hi.
Too perfect.
I didn't even have my tab. I was like looking at the Kickstarter, so I didn't even know that was on me.
That one was on purpose.
Yeah.
No, it's
I
this
run it
guy.
from the shadows. Yeah,
He does. Seth Breedlove founded Small Town Monsters.
Right here.
Yeah, it was me.
This man.
in 2010, right?
2014.
2014.
2010.
2010.
25.
This would be the 15-year anniversary.
Is it? Oh man. The Valraven asks, any plans in Utah? Are we going to Utah?
It's funny. Like right now, there's nothing planned officially, but there is a chance this year there will be some Utah stuff from me. Probably not a movie, probably YouTube related, but it's possible. It's a potential.
Very cool.
Covering
Very cool.
Utah's the best, man.
I've never been. That's why I want to do it, just because I've always wanted to go.
It's like Colorado, but better.
We'll see about that. See about this.
So maybe, yes, possibly. Christy Dauncey asks, any word on the Sleepy Hollow project? Is somebody doing a Sleepy Hollow project?
So this is my dream project. I mean, no, any word on it? No. The problem with the Sleepy Hollow thing is, yes, there's a movie there and there's definitely a story to tell, and I want to do it. And it's, it's like my bucket list thing. The problem with it is the way I dreamed this up would require a very substantial budget. So until I can get to a point where I feel like we can pull this off, it's probably still a couple of years down the line.
Maybe Sleepy Hollow Easter eggs in Kinderhook, perhaps. There's a connection there. There's a connection there.
Yeah.
Is Sleepy Hollow taking a little nap?
What?
Is Sleepy Hollow taking a little nap?
I get it. No, I get it.
That was perfect.
I also brought this flute.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, Lisa Thorpe asks, any upcoming ideas on beanies or more hoodie designs? Anything we can tease? Our AOL design is up there right now by Mr. Polisano.
As much as Zach pumps them out, I will try to put them in the shop spaced apart.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Lisa.
I have ideas for those.
So yes to that one. Let's see.
Do we have beanies in there?
We have the snowman beanie is seasonal.
Right. Gotcha.
Oh, why don't I have a snowman beanie?
You didn't ask for one.
No.
I didn't either. We'll get them next year, buddy. This year.
They're out of the shop
2025.
already. I'm sorry.
Put them back in.
2025, 10 years. We are at, folks, 54,762 of our 80 goal.
I think
So
we
are
should do
creeping
one
up
more
there.
trivia question here.
I agree.
Okay.
All right.
Do you want Dogman Triangle or Cursed Waters? Choice is yours. Call it.
Whose?
Choice is whose?
Say it.
Someone call
Cursed
it.
Water.
Cursed
I'm
Water.
not
Okay.
making a decision right now.
All right. Name the full title of the song that gave Ogo Pogo its popular name.
Oh. I remember listening to this song. It's a bop.
It is a bop.
I've watched this movie way too many
Tommy
times.
loves this movie. He'll be like, let's watch Cursed Waters. Let's watch it again.
It got to the point where I was like, no. Like, just no. Can't keep doing it. Is there, while we're waiting on anything, are there any other audience questions or anything?
Yes, we got a couple left. We actually almost got all of them. We did have a question about Dogman. Julie Bug asks, Aaron, did the on-site shooting of Dogman Territory change your perspective of what you believe? Do you believe more or less that Dogman exist? I'm convinced the phenomenon is legitimate. I think it represents more than just unidentified animals, but I also don't think it's just a Googa thing. I think the phenomenon supersedes that question.
Oh.
And that's as much as I can share right now.
I think
The
Bart
answer-
Sullivan got it.
Bart Sullivan.
Yes.
Got
Bart.
the exactly right.
The Ogo
That's
Pogo.
impressive.
That
What's
was
up, Bart?
fast.
I didn't know
Thank you,
Bart was in
Bart.
here. Bart's a cool guy. Bart, I've hung out with Bart. He's a good dude.
Yeah. Bart, please email Aaron at smalltownmonsters.com your shipping address so we can get you your prize. And we-
One last STM through the years that I want to ask, which is a Seth question, is how did a Bigfoot movie, being On the Trail of Bigfoot the Ancients, turn into a family heritage movie?
Oh, I don't know. Well, I mean, Ancients was always just going to be family heritage. I mean, like it was born out of my mom passed away in 2023. I mean, that's a movie
Origin.
or On the Trail of Bigfoot, the origin is a movie, you know, like someone asked earlier if these movies, how much they change. Like that's one where it had to completely change in the week before we filmed, to the point that Mark became the primary storyteller in the movie. And I did not conduct a single interview.
Well, you weren't there until the third day of shooting.
Yeah, because my mom passed away. But coming out of that movie, my dad wanted to reconnect with his family roots down in North Carolina, and he had gone down to the property where my grandpa had kind of grown up, and there's a lot of property. I mean, if you've seen On the Trail of Bigfoot, the Ancients, it's, you know, it's all about the family property down in North Carolina. I mean, it's about Bigfoot sightings too, but I mean, how it morphed into like a family heritage movie. It's still very much a Bigfoot movie, but it just, I wanted to explore that for myself, because I watched my dad go down there and meet these people that I'd never met, but that are like cousins and of mine, and I wanted to connect with some of those people too. And I thought it was cool that we have that deep connection to Appalachia. And so, you know, I mean, I wanted to learn more. And then in making the movie, there were weird connections between the family property and the Bigfoot sightings in the area, and it all just kind of like worked out. So that was how it all kind of came into being. And then just, you know, it was also an excuse to spend time with my dad on a shoot. So at the end of the day, a lot of these shoots are like excuses to go somewhere we've never been before and really cover, you know, interesting stories, but to be in a place that we've wanted to go or connect with people we've wanted to connect with.
And rapid fire. I'm going to go through everyone. Single answer, most exciting thing that you have coming up in 2025. Eli, you're in the top corner.
Episode 2, Mountains of Mystery.
You're excited. Awesome. Alex.
Oh my gosh. Ape Canyon stuff. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Nice. Heather, you're writing a lot of stuff and doing podcasts and whatnot.
Yeah, some stuff that we haven't announced yet, actually, so I can't go into it. But
Ooh,
stuff later in the year.
Projects.
Yeah.
Don't say it.
I
All right,
won't. I
Heather's
won't.
excited for mysteries. Mark.
Oh, more Monsteropolis, I guess. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it.
Buckeye.
Nice.
Yeah.
Buckeye. Zach.
Oh, no. You pointed at me as I was saying Buckeye to Mark.
Oh, okay.
Buckeye. Mark, you gotta say Buckeye.
Buckeye.
I don't remember what I've got. You know what? In all honesty, I'm very excited for the movie releases we have, but I'm genuinely loving making Decoded. It kind of like is taking me back to the early days of doing this stuff and getting to have like a long form conversation with some of these people in the field is really cool. It's been cool. And then it's interesting too, because I get to expand on the history of the area or different sightings or aspects of the location or whatever. I get to do that through the narration or directly to the camera. So that's what I'm excited about.
Zach, what are you?
Spring.
Spring.
He's excited
That's
for
a good
spring.
one.
When it's warm.
When
He
it's
doesn't like the groundhog.
Jason.
I'll probably see Nosferatu.
Mm.
Finally.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
I'll go with Jason.
You didn't watch that yet?
No.
No.
Brandon.
Yeah, just like STM related or just anything?
Anything.
Anything you're excited for?
Yeah, I'm getting married in a couple months, so that'll be great. We did the
Very excited for that.
Thanks, man. We did the traditional ceremony last November, but we've got the Western American wedding in May, so we're in full prep mode right now. So everything's crazy, but
I'm actually marrying them, so I'm pretty excited too. That's one of the things I'm most excited for this year. Yeah,
exactly.
And Mr. Deese.
The thing I've been manically texting a couple of you about the last couple days that is most on my mind has not been announced yet, so I might have to take Heather's answer.
Ooh,
as well.
I don't know why. I don't know why you guys don't just take
Pleads
that
the
page
fifth.
out of my book and just say it. Like
Can I just do that?
I make
Yeah.
announce. I just make
Seth
announcements.
does do that, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, there's a book coming. Working on a book. It's
Aaron's
not about
already
Dogman.
Nice.
What?
Finally.
Nice.
Sick.
I
Leave
feel
that
ripped
now.
off.
Well, you're going to be in
All
it.
right.
Young
Where's
man.
the campaign? Do we want to give a final campaign update here before we shut this down?
All
I
right,
think that'd
we
be
are at
great.
loading 68%.
55.
And our very last backer, because I think that's always important, was Kenneth Rucker.
Mm-hmm.
So every backer counts.
Yeah.
And let's read our executive producers one more time because I love them so much. I want to say their names again.
Rock.
Yes.
Goldie Goldbatch, Morgan Hazel, Helen, Greg Bald, Chadwick Smith, Mason,
Schoenfeld.
Old Man Kid, Lane Marshall, and Michael Wilcox. Thank you. We love you all. You are part of us.
A big thanks as always to the Hazel, or who was on it? Morgan, because Morgan has backed almost every Kickstarter for like 6 years or something in the executive level, which is insane. So
Yeah, those names go way back.
yeah. So shout out to him. I just want to again, like before we shut it down, say thank you to everyone who's involved in STM, whether you're just someone who watches our stuff or you're actively involved in helping us make it. Like Scott is in the chat. Huge thanks to Scott for all the support.
And
Martin, Lisa. Yeah, like there's so many people that
We know your names because we see you.
yeah. But yeah, it has been an incredibly emotional week, 3 weeks for me, where I keep I'm in my 40s now, so I'll just randomly cry out of nowhere. For instance, I was texting Mark this morning and started crying. So, and that is 100% honest. But I just it's been really wild this week to kind of look back at everything that's happened over the last 10 years. And I said this in the intro video. It is a miracle we're here. Like if you guys, especially, those that aren't behind the scenes at STM, we should not exist. So the fact that we are still here, especially after this year, is really, really wild. And we always want to be able to pay you guys back for your support by giving you just the highest quality that we can in the stuff that we make. And, we really do. I think every single person here puts 100% into everything we do. And that it will be the goal going forward. So hopefully there's another 10-year anniversary. Well, it would be 20-year anniversary in 10 years. And we're all still sitting here. I'll be completely gray-headed by then. Brandon will be 600 pounds. Mark will be with a walker. Eli will be in a wheelchair.
Probably.
I'm hoping that we're back in another 10 years, but and it just for the Kickstarter backers as well. It goes without saying that is just a massive part of the fact that we're able to do this year after year. So thank you to everyone that tuned in this year and backed.
Thank you guys. We do have one last teaser we haven't run yet. It's 59 seconds long. Would you guys like to maybe check that out?
Yeah.
If it was 60, I would have said no.
Well, it's a good thing it's 59. One thing that's been a big part of Small Town Monsters for a very long time is podcasts.
It's true.
Hello and good evening. You're listening to the Small Town Monsters Broadcasting Network.
This is Monsteropolis, a show about anomalies, legends, and monsters.
Welcome to House of Monsters.
Hello, welcome to The Lore You Know, a show where we chat with some amazing human beings who are storytellers, collectors, and folklorists as we discuss the history of, inspiration behind, and importance of recording and sharing regional tales.
Real quick, I just want to throw in an honorable mention of an almost disaster.
Bigfoot versus Daniel Boone.
When you were growing up, did you have people in your life that told you about Bigfoot? Like, was this something that you had heard about?
Way too many lenses, way too many cameras.
The lava flow area of Mount St. Helens, that's on the southeast flank, and there's probably at most an hour of light left in the day.
There was a house behind it too that was still occupied on what pullover we're filming right now. Very cool.
That was super laggy, but yeah, while you guys are waiting for the next release, we have podcasts. You can hear Heather and Seth and Mark on Monsteropolis, Heather on The Lore You Know, and some other guy on House of Monsters. So, and most of the people on this stage have made appearances on one, if not all of those shows. And if they haven't yet, they may soon. We'll see. They might
Trying
get
to
an
catch 'em
email.
all.
I really am. I was playing Pokemon a couple hours ago. But this has been a great night, guys. We 10 whole years.
Crazy. 10 years.
10 years. Miss Courtney, do we have anything else on the agenda that you'd like to cover this evening?
I think we've gotten all the big stuff. If you want a prize, please email Aaron so that I can send you your prize.
Get them prizes.
And please check out, if you haven't backed the Kickstarter and you're watching, please check out the levels available and see what's right for you, if one is, because, you know, we want to get you your films as efficiently as possible, and this is the way to do it. You know, they'll all be out eventually for streaming and DVD on our website, but if you want them quick, the Kickstarter is the way to go. And then also you get to see your name in the credits at the end, which is pretty darn cool.
All right. I'm going to go eat now.
All right. Can we watch?
No, please.
Oh. Well, I guess we'll call this a night, folks. 63%, we said?
69 now.
69%. Almost at 70%.
Wow.
Cool. Wow. That's huge, guys. If you've already made your pledge and you'd like to share the page, tell a friend. That always helps us. That helps all of us. And we will start getting your rewards to you ASAP. But for now, I guess thank you, everybody, for joining me. This has been so much fun.
Goodbye.
Thanks, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.